It's a mystery that has only deepened with time, but the suspicions surrounding the Libyan Arab Airlines Flight 1103 disaster could never be spoken about until now. And no one dared to accuse Gaddafi and his regime of foul play.
They're all whispering, they knew who did it. He did it on purpose, you know, as I told you, to get some sympathy from the world.
His brother Khalid was one of 157 people killed aboard the Boeing 727 jet that exploded on approach to Tripoli in 1992. The families say no accident investigation report has ever been released, no wreckage has ever been produced, nor the black box flight recorder. They call it Libya's Lockerbie. Colonel Gaddafi blames sabotage for the explosion, the work of the West, he said, in retaliation for the downing of Pan Am 103 over the Scottish town in 1988.
Suddenly and out of the blue, the Boeing lost balance and went into flames, exploded.
Benghazi is no longer under Gaddafi's rule, and they have launched their own accident investigation. This is a Boeing 727, the same as the one which flew 19 years ago. In Benghazi, they highlight strange coincidences. 2 months before the disaster, the flight number had been changed to 1103, one digit different to Pan Am 103. It happened on December the 22nd, the day after the 4th anniversary of Lockerbie. The explosion was so big, hardly anything was left of the plane. The problem with proving this case is that all the physical evidence, or at least all the physical evidence that remains, and all the main witnesses are in Tripoli living under the Gaddafi regime. And after 20 years, according to the relatives of the victims, they are still too scared to speak out. A Libyan Air Force jet was in mid-air at the same time. Some suggested it collided with the Boeing, but the pilot and navigator have never told their story.
This subject could never be spoken about, and anyone who would ask would end up behind bars. Those pilots were put in custody for 3 years, and no one was able to contact them, even their families.
The relatives are suggesting the explosion was deliberate in an effort by Gaddafi to gain sympathy and lead to an easing of sanctions imposed after Lockerbie. But there is no hard evidence, only circumstantial. Felicity Prazak's British husband Victor was one of 40 foreigners on board. She came to Benghazi looking for answers.
I've learnt more in the last 4 days than in 19 years of asking the government, the British government, the Libyan government, and no one has told me the truth, and I want it. I want it for me, and I want it for the people that lost their loved ones on the flight.
But those answers won't come until Colonel Gaddafi's regime is toppled. Only then do they believe will all the evidence be revealed of what really happened to Flight 1103. Tony Birtley, Al Jazeera, Benghazi.